Yo, what is going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here. And in today's video, I want to share a story, a personal experience that I had just recently that involves detaching from marijuana or letting go of my attachment to marijuana, your attachment to marijuana. Okay, so depending on like where you're at in your journey, you may or may not understand everything I'm saying, but I'm going to speak and assume that you do, and if ever there's like a word or something that comes up, I'll just explain. Okay, so I was in my girlfriend's apartment and I was feeling the desire to smoke weed. Okay, the desire to smoke weed. All right. You could call that a craving, but I'm gonna call that the desire to smoke weed. Okay. And the issue, like for many of you, is that I have conflicting values, principles, and I have a lot of conflict about marijuana, right? And although I've dealt with a lot of conflict, I still have conflict, right? And the main conflict being that, my girlfriend is not a big fan of me smoking marijuana. I'm not a huge fan of me smoking that often. And the reality is I know that I technically don't need it, right? Yet the other side of the conflict was, I felt like I was stripped of my freedom. I felt like I was being told like I can't do what I want to do. And so it's very low energy stuff, right? Low consciousness, low energy stuff, meaning a lot of victimhood, a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, a lot of blaming. And at the very least, I was willing to like reflect on this before I went to go smoke, because I'm just not interested in making a decision that's not in alignment with me, right? And one main thing for me is that I just want to do right by myself. I want to do right by her. I want to do right by you guys. I want to do right by my family and friends, meaning like whatever I decide to do, and not just with marijuana, but with all of my life, but specifically with marijuana, I want to make decisions that do right by everyone, okay? Because I'm very aware of the role I play in a lot of people's lives, and I'm also aware of how quote unquote slippery of a slope it can be if I do smoke weed. And although I've had many instances in where smoking weed really helped me and was in alignment with who I am and my purpose, there's also, like you guys, an abundant of times when smoking weed really fucked things up for me and caused indirect negativity to other people in my life, right? So in knowing all this, I just needed to reflect, like, what the hell is this about? And so fortunately, I have my own life coach who I'm able to text about these emergency situations. And I was just venting to him. I wasn't expecting him to respond. I just needed a place to vent where I felt safe, where I can, seek answers, if not from him, from within. And I just started to vent out the situation, which is everything I just told you. And I came to a realization through his support, which is that, and this is where it gets kind of high level here. So I was attached to marijuana being the only way I can achieve a certain emotional state, a certain mental state. And what I'm looking for really is peace of mind, relaxation, release, boundaries between me and my responsibilities, as well as the things that people need from me, and a place for fun, a place for reward, a place for, and this is why we become addicted and dependent, because marijuana can just hit all these different values, all these different emotions, all these different states. And so when you have something like marijuana that can just hit all these notes, it's very easy to just feel like, man, like this is the only way I can really get all that. However, I was also present to the fact that, smoking marijuana, like I imagined myself smoking the weed and then immediately being disappointed, like, God dang it, this lasted what, 2 hours, and now I'm not high, and now I'm just back to where I was, so it's like, I got present to that, like, okay, I don't think it's marijuana. Like, I got present to the pain that would likely happen if I smoked weed, right? Like, I don't want to go through that cycle again, right? Just like you guys, I do not want to go through this cycle again. And so in my conversation with my coach, what I realized, okay, and this is why, in my opinion, in my experience, it's so powerful to have a coach or someone of high energy, is that you have a moment to inject yourself with basically alternative solutions and alternative perspectives. And so what dawned on me is that what I'm really after is peace of mind, self-love, self-care, boundaries, time away from work, like true permission, like to not give myself away, because it's like I'll overextend and really push myself hard fucking core. And then I'll break down, right? And I don't want that. And so it just occurred to me that that marijuana was holding, let me rephrase this. And what I mean by attached to marijuana is that my brain and my emotions or what have you, they were associating marijuana as the only way I could get all these things. Peace of mind, self-love, self-care, boundaries, reward, fun, release, right? It's like, and so because I was attached to marijuana being the solution, I felt scarcity and a sense of lack and a sense of dissatisfaction because I wasn't getting the weed, right? Because I'm basically saying to myself, I can't be happy unless I have the weed. I can't be whole. I can't be at peace unless I have the weed. And so that's where the conflict, the real conflict comes into play. It's right, oh my God, weed has my salvation, right? So, right? So then obviously you're going to go to the weed. But the key is that it's not the weed that I want. It's the peace. It's the salvation. It's the reward, like I've been saying. And so the tip here is it's easier said than done, but to let go of marijuana as the way for you to achieve what you're looking for, and instead get clear on what it is you actually want. So for example, if you're anxious or depressed or bored, you probably want something of the same. You want connection, you want peace, you want release, you want fun, you want support, you want to feel better, right? On some way you want to feel better. And so instead of being attached to marijuana as the only way that you can feel better, let it go and realize that what you want is to feel better, and add some detail. I want to feel better in a way that's healthy, sustainable, highly pleasurable, and even more enjoyable than marijuana. And just send it out there, and then wait for the solutions to come to mind instead of being so gridlocked on what you think or what I think the solution needs to be, right? And that's where real creativity comes into play. It's like, let me just go sit on the ground and just like play and do nothing. Like, that sounds great, but that type of solution doesn't sound as good when I'm not aware that that I'm being attached to marijuana, right? Because like, oh my God, unless I smoke the weed, I'm not gonna get what I want, right? No, right? That's not the case, right? That's not the case. Because I'm specifically interested in creating alternative strategies to feel mega fucking good. I have a ton of them already, right? But there's that attachment to marijuana. Like, without marijuana, my life is going to be less somehow. When that's not true. That's not true. That's not fucking true. All right? And so, hopefully that makes sense. I think it does, but it's fucking crazy, dude. Like, it's fucking crazy. So, so stay open, right? Dig deep. It's like, okay, what is this really about? So think for yourself, what is this craving for marijuana about? Oh, I don't want to be in my head. Oh, I don't want to lose my sense of something, or I want to gain something, or I want to feel cool, or I want to feel socially accepted. Okay, those are the things you want to feel, right? And if marijuana is not an outlet you're okay doing, then be open. It's like, all right, well, shoot, how can I get that done? Right? Because it's not the marijuana that's your goal. It's all those things underneath. So it's like, all right, well, shoot, how can I make those things happen without needing the marijuana? And the challenging part is that you've been using marijuana to achieve those things. And so that's your current working strategy. Yet the irony is that your current working strategy also causes you a lot of fucking pain. So is it really working? I don't know, right? But so yeah, just go underneath the marijuana craving. What is this really about? What are you truly looking to alleviate? Oh, my mind won't stop fucking racing. Oh, my chest is extremely tight. But then on the other hand, it's like, oh man, if I smoke weed, I know that I'm gonna be a lazy piece of shit, and that I'm gonna ignore the people in my life, and I'm gonna let myself go. So okay, so I want the solution, but I don't want the negative impact. So what the fuck do I do, right? What the fuck do I do? Okay, well, go back to what's the real problem? The real problem is that you have a racing mind. Okay, what's a way that I can relieve my mind and my body in a way that's convenient, easy, and fun? Oh, okay. Ask that question. Oh, okay. How about I just like go hula hoop for an hour? How about I just go have a burrito? How about I just go lay down in the sun? Right? And I think one issue that people might experience is that like I said, if you're used to being stoned all the time and you don't have any other tools to feel happy, like it's low-key gonna suck at first. But again, this is the price of admission. If you want to, if what worked for me in stepping away from being so closely tied to marijuana is, first of all, getting space for marijuana, right? And literally forcing myself to develop a life without it, you know? And trust me, you can and you will if you're willing. And yeah, so that's it. Hopefully that made sense. Let me know in the comments down below what you learned from today's video. And just overall, just consider that it's not the marijuana, it's the feeling, it's the energy. And so be open to other ways of obtaining or creating that energy. And there you go. So that's it. I love you all. I appreciate you all so much. If you're interested in a free coaching session, email me at g.santos28@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram at gabe2_santos. And we'll get that going for you, all right? But yeah, until then, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.